Alright, hey guys, I'm Hunter from Fleet Feet. We are about 4 weeks out from the Rock and Roll Marathon here in Nashville, and I wanted to talk about some things you can do in the last 3 to 4 weeks before your race that'll have you completely prepared. The first one I want to talk about is your last few long runs. Really nail down that race morning routine. So eat the same thing you're going to eat on race day. Eat the same thing the night before, just so your stomach's used to it. You're in a good routine. You wake up the same amount of time before your run as you would the race. Practice your morning breakfast, kind of when you take gels, how you take nutrition. Really nail down kind of how you're going to do things on race morning, and it's just going to feel more natural once you hit race day. Another question I get a lot is how long before the race should I get a new pair of shoes? We always recommend at least 2 to 3 weeks before the race. Definitely don't wait until race day or the week before. You want to get at least one decent long run in your new shoes, even if you're wearing the same model. We want you to be able to make sure that that shoe still feels good. Even the same model can have some slight differences from shoe to shoe. So you want to make sure that that feels good. Apparel as well. You want to make sure that you nail down your race day apparel before the day of the race. Don't buy anything new. Don't wear a new jersey even if it looks great. Don't wear the race shirt. Definitely do a long run in your full head-to-toe race gear. That's shoes, socks, shorts, top, any hydration you're going to wear, hat. Just make sure that everything feels good, no wear you need to worry about any chafing or anything like that, so you can throw Body Glide on there the day of the race. And the last thing I want to talk about is race week specifically. Know the details of the expo, know where you're going to park. If you're running the Rock and Roll Nashville, we'll have a course info and race week info session here the week of the race, and that's going to go over expo hours. Don't spend too much time on your feet at the expo, checking out every single booth. Stop where you know you need to. Don't buy anything new that you would use the next day. And then make sure you have your race day routine planned as far as where you're going to park, what time you're going to leave, knowing how long it takes to get to the race location. So all of those are some great tips for the last 3 to 4 weeks leading into the race.
And what are your suggestions for amount of mileage to run like those last 3 or 4 weeks?
I would always say, if you've got a coach, follow that plan, listen to what they say. As far as taper goes, I like not to back off quite as much. I don't. If you're running a certain amount of mileage, I wouldn't go way down and run nothing or very little the week of. Just back off a little bit on intensity, back off on volume, and it should be fine. You don't want to over-rest your body and cause it to kind of go into recovery mode and get sluggish and stressful.
And do you run a full 13 the month before and a full 26 point, or do you just do 22 and maybe
Typically
10?
your longest run should be at least 3 to 4 weeks out, probably 4. And then the last 3 weeks, you're just going to gradually decrease that long run so that you're well-rested going into the race.
Okay, and do you recommend any type of cross-training or massage or anything
I wouldn't
like that?
add anything new. If you've been getting massages, at least I say about 10 days before the race is about what I do. If I'm going to get another massage or dry needling or physical therapy or anything like that, I try to get it at least 10 days out from the race so that there's no lingering soreness.
And when you were talking about your eating, are you suggesting to do that, start now doing it on the weekends?
Absolutely,
that kind of thing.
Every single long run, it may sound a little boring, but eat exactly what you're going to eat the night before race day, just so your body's used to it.
For those 3 to 4 weeks, you mean? Really?
Yeah, I try for every important long run I do. I try to replicate race day. That's what time I go to bed, what time I wake up, the breakfast I eat the morning of, as well as dinner the night before. So that I know there's not going to be any surprises on race day.
Yeah,
you have everything dialed in. It's just going to feel as if you can get into a routine that feels very familiar that you replicate on race day. It's going to make the day a lot less stressful.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've basically been doing the same race day routine for 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
What I eat the night before, exactly what I cook, what I eat the morning of, when I start jogging my warm up. When I do drills, it's all exactly the same as I was doing all the way back to when I was 18, 19 in college. So I've got it pretty much dialed in.
Yeah, that sounds great.
The more practice, the better.
And do you know the date, if you happen to be in Nashville, of that thing that you're doing?
Yeah, so that's the 24th. It's the Tuesday before Rock and Roll 4.5. So the race is on the 28th, I believe, and so it's the Tuesday before. We'll have a noon session if you can make it during your lunch hour. And we'll have a 6 p.m. session as well. And we will be streaming those on our Facebook page. as Facebook Live, and that video will be available. And that'll be me and Drew Jones from Brooks, and he's run this race for, I think, 16 years in a row, so he knows that race week routine really well. And then Scott Witeka, who's won it the last 5 years in a row. So
wow, awesome.
We'll talk about course specifics, we'll talk about race week, we'll talk about parking, meeting up with your family, where to meet, when to use the bathroom, all that stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Thanks. You so much.